kind of new setting on the show, which surprised no one. Dame's like, hey, you can do this. It's easy. And then now we're here and I'm trying to change a setting. And needless to say, it doesn't work. Hello, everyone. It's the incompetent Peter Nicholas Dunn joining you with some breaking technology news for my colleagues, Kristen, Margaret, and Dame. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good day.
Good day.
All right. Dame, I made in technology investment. Hello, Jeremiah. Hello, Andy. Hello, Chris. I made a technology investment this week that might blow your mind.
Oh man, this could go a number of ways, but I'm really excited to hear what this is.
Hello, Jameson Schuler, fused glassed artist. Quincy. So away from work, I have one joy in life. Dame, it is
cooking.
No. Kristen?
I mean, I feel like you should say your family, but I feel like you're going to say the gym.
Working out.
Nope. All right. Nope. We're missing the mark.
Prepared meals.
Live streaming youth soccer games.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so for those that are not in the loop here, I take my professional skills and I live stream my son's soccer game. So all the families that can't make the trek, they can watch it on YouTube. And I do play-by-play and commentary. And it's fun, if you will, for me. Dame?
Play-by-play and color? Or just
it's an experience.
Okay, all right.
Think of an off-Broadway one-man show where it is, Kristen, the reference you won't get. I am like Dick Van Dyking one-man banding it of Mary Poppins. It's something. Damn, I can send it to you if you want it, Kristen.
Well, I also have a question, which is how many of the parents do you think watch it on mute?
According to me, none. Let me just say this. I mean, if I may toot my own horn for a moment, we have people watching weekly in New Zealand, in Mexico, in Ireland, because the families of the people on our team. I'll have 50, 60 viewers on my stream, all watching a 13-year-old soccer game somewhere. Now, here's a problem. Can we get a sampling, audio sample of the podcast? Yeah, I might be able to do that, Jeremiah. I might be able to get you a sample of what we're dealing with. Here's the challenge I have, Dame. As you might imagine, I tinker a bit, so I keep adding to my stack, adding to the tech stack. But the operative issue, quite figuratively and literally, is that when you're at a soccer park of any size, there's, 1,500 cell phones connecting to the same 5G tower.
Mm-hmm.
So where I show up early, go figure, and get my setup and check the speeds and set my bit rate. I mean, yeah, we're getting into it. Thanks, ChatGPT. By the time we're, midway through the first half, my signal is dropping out and my upload speed is bad. And so it's like, it's like that, right? And so I can't have that on my name. So then I have to go home and upload the high quality HD video over the live streaming video. It's just like, so I bought a Starlink this week.
I was just going to say, you needed a Starlink roam.
So I bought a Starlink. As it turns out, I mean, again, if you've listened to this show, not a big Elon Musk person. He's not my cup of tea. And my daughter had pointed that out in quite visceral terms last evening. Drew some parallels between his work in the technology world and in government. And anyway, made me feel terrible. But I will say this, I will have a much clearer live stream. So I'm going to be the dad with a Starlink on the sideline, live broadcasting space quality HD back to people all over the world. How about that?
This surprises me not at all. That you've gone this far. Have you considered setting up your table and then putting a tablecloth over it with a logo that you have a show that you've made up on your own, just so you could and have a portable mic that you could walk around and do live interviews with fans at halftime? Or I mean, have you gone this far yet with it?
Well, it's funny you ask, and I don't want to spend too much more time on this because I'm self-indulgent. I do have a standing halftime show with the siblings. 5 minutes and 21 seconds with the siblings, like the little kids, like second, third graders, and so they're my halftime shows.
Okay.
Or if a guy's on vacation and can't make it to the game, like they're on a cruise or whatever, using StreamYard, I will interview. I'll have a studio show, having one of the players talk about what they saw in the first half.
Wait, they're required to watch the game while they're on vacation?
Why would you not watch your teammate's game while you're on vacation? Shows what kind of teammate you'd be. Anyway, Chris,
Peter,
you ready to do the show?
I am as ready as I'm ever going to be.
Little birdie told me that, was it last week's show, Dave, that I read the outline minutes before air and then plowed through all 3 segments within the first 2 minutes of my talking and kind of blew up the show. Is that a fair assessment of what happened?
I'm reading the outline minutes before the show. I think seems a little generous, honestly.
Okay. I read it as the show is occurring.
Yes.
Great. It's not personal. Okay. Are we ready to go? Good. Thanks. Thank you. Good. Weird one for you this week. This is weird. Maybe it's not weird. It's just it's weird to me. Do you know the name Mick Mulvaney?
Oh man, why do I maybe it's just the last name that I'm familiar with.
Former chief of staff for President Trump in his first administration, temporarily, and he was in the government. He was part of the whole first Trump administration. I did a news segment this week on News Nation, and I got an email afterwards from one of the producers that said, Mick Mulvaney's watching. He wanted to know what kind of microphone you use. And I thought that was that's the weirdest. It's so weird.
Only the industry standard that's used in almost everything you see.
Dame, I want to send you the email because I think I said that exact phrase. I said, "Oh, you mean the legendary Shure SM7B, the industry standard?" I think is exactly what I said.
Yeah.
What a weird thing that is. You know?
Well, hey, you made a difference in somebody's life.
Sure. It's just weird. I don't know. It's just weird. Okay.
Why did they have to name drop? Like you wouldn't have shared if it was Nick Mulvaney.
Do you say Nick or Mick?
It doesn't matter.
I would. By the way, former chief of staff of the president wants to know. I'm just like, what? Okay, I don't care.
Wow. What kind of microphone is that?
What's the topic here? But if you've not seen the graphic for today's show, you need to dig in. It's really good. I'm having fun with that.
Do you think we should change? Like you've got a blue shirt, I've got a blue jacket. Do we think we should mix that up a little bit, or is that?
In the graphic,
in the graphic, because it's happened a couple times. Should we always try? Anyway, that's.
I'll say this: every week I instruct chat to make Kristen look a little bit older.
I can tell. My crow's feet are getting intense. And you get younger every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Welcome to the troll.
So awful.
You're doing great, Chris. T-minus how much time until Margaret's around here?
Well, we are 8 months pregnant, so
all 3 of us?
Yes.
Okay. 8 months. So are we like at any second yet, or what are we? How's the gestation of an African elephant? Like, what is this?
Well, technically she's not due for another 8 weeks, but she could be born in 4 and come home without a NICU stay. So,
Dame, do we have a plan if Kristen goes into labor on the air?
You won't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna you guys, if that happened, I would be like that one lady who finished her news broadcast, and then when she was done, she was like, "By the way, I think I'm in labor." Like,
Kristen, I'm gonna beg to. As someone who has 2 children, I will tell you. I think Dame and I might know. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm gonna have boiling water and hot towels ready.
I'll have the car idling so we can rush her to the hospital.
I've got to go
Perfect.
back. Uncle Pete, Uncle Dame. Let's broadcast from the delivery room.
Live broadcast.
Hey!
And you got all the stuff. Oh, it wouldn't be hard.
Starlink realm.
Jeremiah asked an incredible question. How many
Oh,
months does the audience need to emotionally be prepared to only have the duns? Is that really a good question? Okay, there we go. Starlink delivery. We could have the Starlink in the delivery room. In 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. Joining me most times, sometimes, is Kristen Elanius. Hello, Kristen.
hello, Pete.
CFP, Certified Financial Planning Practitioner.
Sure.
And Damian Dunn, same designation.
That's me,
I don't have a designation.
CEO.
That's not a designation. It's a vanity title. Hello, everybody. Today's show. You know, Dame threw this in our Slack channel yesterday. I got eyes on it about probably 10 minutes before I was going to send a, hey, do we got any ideas for tomorrow? And it showed up like Santa on Christmas morning. And it is, does downsizing your house always make sense? And you know, Dame, what's funny about this is my children are, one of them is now driving and the other one might have a whisker or two, the male. I thought Mrs. Planner and I kind of talk about this more than we used to. We've become the pre-empty nesters and we've gone back and forth. So this show in my mind is becoming about me. I want you two experts can help me.
Oh,
So here's the scenario, Chris. Okay. The mortgage is gone. It's not yet, but I paid it in person yesterday. We're getting close. You're settled in, but your home is quietly draining your wallet or is it quietly saving it, right? It's this idea of like, do I need to improve stuff now? But I don't have a mortgage payment. I got a ton of home equity. Should we just downsize and keep the difference in home equity, or are prices so much higher that it's actually going to be a financially lateral move? That's what we want to talk about today. Can you guys please explain how we're going to get our heads around this?
Yeah, first, I think, and by the way, Chris and I are going to come at this from both sides. I don't think we're going to try and necessarily say that one is right and one is wrong, because individual circumstances will vary, of course. But I think there is a case against staying that you can make for any number of person if they fit into these categories. Like, there are hidden costs that you have to take into account, even if the mortgage is not there anymore. Upkeep on the house, like you said, Pete, if you live in a house that is bigger than what you actually need and you are maintaining that house going forward, you are likely spending more than you absolutely need to. And if dollars are tight in retirement, this is a place you might be able to save a few bucks. If you live in a big house, chances are taxes are probably going to go up a little bit faster too, property taxes on that. Insurance, of course, I saw some stat the other day about how much premiums have gone up since the pandemic on homeowners insurance. It's obnoxious. It was like 60 or 80% in some areas. It just
Really?
Yeah, absolutely bonkers. Yeah.
Why?
So, materials and being able to rebuild houses in those cases. So at least that's what they say. But premiums are up. Well, we all experience that. And then, of course, you've got the opportunity cost of having a bunch of equity locked up that you might be able to use for other stuff. If you, like I said, if dollars are tight, downsize, buy a house in cash, and use those other dollars to make sure you've got a nice, stable month-to-month income. So there's absolutely a case against staying if you're in the right situation.
Kristen, how do you think about this? Do you think it's do you go to empty nester? Like, what do you do in your brain here?
you know, there's something that I think about that Dame didn't mention, but I feel like as soon as I say this, he's going to I can't believe I didn't say this, which is I feel like what also happens with empty nesters is you're like, our kids who have wrecked our house for the last however many years are gone. And like, we want the nice stuff now. Like, we
That's
want to
true.
remodel the kitchen and we want to have a countertop that we're not worried about them putting a red Gatorade on. Like, I think that's something that traps people too, is like they want to upgrade because now we can enjoy our home now that they're gone.
Yeah, Kristen, to that point, I've been known to troll a person or two for fun, especially people I love, like you two. The people I live with are trolls. One of the little people that I live with on a regular basis uses their fingernail to to tighten the screws on switch plate covers to then crack the plastic switch plate covers. So at any given time over the last several years, any switch plate cover at any time will crack. And I'll sit them both down and I'll appropriately position myself close so they can understand me. And I'll look them in their dumb eyes. And who did it? Who did it? Damn, I want to live in a home that does not have cracked switch plate covers.
It sounds like you're moving to candlelight.
Yeah, I'm. You guys, I don't know why I brought this up, but it's like so upsetting. No, I can't figure out which one of the little jerks it is. And I am constantly going to the hardware buying switch plate covers. The people at the hardware store got to be like, what is wrong with this guy?
That's amazing. I can't believe somebody's fingernails are strong enough to be able to snug those down. That's nuts.
Yeah, it's all the fluoride in the water. All right, so Dame, what do you think? Do you think the default is when someone pays off their home, they right size the space because there's not as many people living in the home if they, had a family? Do you think that's like the default thinking, or is it just like stay in the house and not have a mortgage payment?
No, I think there's a lot of emotional attachment to, especially if you raised a family in this space, that you want to have an anchor for the family to come back to. I just went through this conversation with some friends who are moving to the East Coast, and they've got, all their kids are grown and out. One of them is in the Air Force and deployed all over the world. And their son was really upset because now he felt like he didn't have a place to come home to, because he'll never have any tie to the place that his parents are going to be living. He doesn't have a place of his own in the town he grew up in. So he feels like he's kind of a wanderer in the world at this point. So I think emotion keeps people tied to the house longer than they might otherwise need to be.
I wonder, as we go through this today, how much of this conversation is financial versus how much of this is emotional and practical, because it's feeling, no offense to anybody here, but it feels less financial, even though there's a lot of financial elements to this.
I think the financial aspects aren't what ultimately make the decisions. There are financial aspects here, of course, like whether we're talking about the case for staying or the case for going, but ultimately, I think people make these decisions based on their emotions.
So let's break this down. We'll do the numbers in the next segment, right? We're going to do the numbers in the next segment, but we've definitely talked about the idea of eliminating a mortgage, right? Or having it gone, and theoretically 25% of your income need goes away. So that's an interesting thing. Then you talk about the increasing upkeep costs and taxes and insurance. We've certainly talked about that, and the opportunity cost of locked up equity. But then we get into, Dame, or one of you talk about there's the go, slow go, no go of retirement stages. At some point, if you are selling your house and you're going a different direction, it kind of jumpstarts the go a little bit, does it not?
I would think so. I mean, if that's kind of the jumping off point, it certainly pushes away from the pier quite a bit if you were going to part ways with the homestead at that point.
All right, Kristen, coming up after the break, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go numbers. We're gonna hit a little deeper on emotional anchors here. And then I want to talk about lifestyle fit, which is what I was trying to get into with this go thing. There's something about having a multi-bedroom house when you're two retirees that just seems not wasteful, not self-indulgent, but it's like it's a missed opportunity to have a better right-sized space for you. That is the discussion next, right here on the Pete the Planner Show. You can also catch the podcast wherever you get podcasts. Just search Pete the Planner and you can watch it live on YouTube. We'll be back right after this. How about the longest, dumbest outro in the history of the show?
I don't think that's true.
Well, I have news for you. I'm going to share it with you right now. It is visual. If you happen to be watching on the live stream right now, boy, you're in for a treat. If you are not, then you're going to need to go to YouTube and search this out here. But we've got Kristen riding to give birth to Margaret on a donkey. Andy said we should do this, so we did. Thank you, Andy. You're delightful. All right, so this is the prompt that got us there. Are you ready for the prompt?
Mm-hmm.
It is: remove the two men in the title image, and then have the woman riding a donkey on a farm toward a manger. Also, dress her as the Virgin Mary. So that is Kristen on the way to give birth to Margaret.
Might I say, you look much younger in this picture, Kristen.
Indeed. I also don't think that she looks pregnant.
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that, Kristen, because I didn't really have the guts to make you pregnant in an image.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was crossing the line. This portion of the program is brought to you by Herculean Meal Prep. Look, here's the thing, very busy. So busy that I don't even do show prep for the show. And so I want to go to the freezer, the nearest freezer, and it happens to be one steps from my office, and have a selection of meals that were both affordable, delicious, and nutritious for my fitness goals. That's why I'm a long time consumer of Herculean Meal Prep. You can learn more at herculeanmealprep.com. They will ship frozen meals to your door, and they're delicious. Today, I will choose from the following three meals, which I brought in this morning. Kristen, are you ready for this?
I am ready.
We've got broccoli cheddar chicken bake. It's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
General Tso's chicken, which is better than So-Tso. And pot roast on a 90-degree day. Yet, it still slaps, as the kids say. From August 18th through August 31st, Herculean will be participating in Devour Indie, which means you can get 3 meals for $20. That's a steal. But don't steal them. Pay for them, and it's $20 American. This is for limited time, obviously, and limited to one of those transactions per human. HerculeanMealPrep.com. I'm taking more liberties with those reads.
All right, they're getting better.
I have a thought I want to share about our advertisers. I'm going to regret. I don't ever, I want to make sure I use all of the advertisers we have, but with my own dollars, not really like send me stuff. It feels honest to me.
Well, that's what influencers do. I bought this with my own money.
Yeah.
Wait, are you kidding?
I'm not kidding. That's a regular thing. Is I was sent this, or I wasn't compensated for this, or I bought this with my own dollars. Like, that's how you establish credibility on the internet with strangers, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, it's just words.
Shane, you and I are older men. We've actually crossed over the Rubicon towards our demise. But that just feels like a more established, credible way to do it. It's like, I'm not going to just say, I love this mattress because they sent me a mattress. Like, I want to buy it and use it, right?
I think it makes perfect sense. Now, with that said, they're welcome to send Kristen and I all the free stuff they want, because we're not the one that's speaking about the product. So if they just want somebody to back up your assertions and your claims from your use of said product that you bought with your own money, we would love to do that.
Good morning, Rick Swink. Apparently it's got more important things to do than join the live stream. Dozens of people. Where do we go from here with this topic here? I know I've set it up.
Segment 2.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Kristen, I will set you up. You go. You fly, friend, and then, girl, pass it to Dame. Go ahead, please.
We didn't talk about the case for staying. We only talked about the case
That's
for
true.
leaving in the last segment. So we could
I'll hit that with the emotional anchors.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Have we ever talked about the newest Your Moneyline feature that's about to come out to the public next week? Have we talked about this?
I don't think on this show.
I don't
No.
think so.
Does it make sense to talk? I mean, it is related. I mean, it's not really. It's kind of show adjacent, and it's fascinating.
Yes, but perhaps between the next two segments, I feel like we've really kind of
stretch this one.
3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. Right back to you. Barely any time between the last segment and this segment. Today we're talking about, does it make sense to downsize your home? Always? Never? What's the deal? This is something people think about, and they do. Maybe they got a big family and they want to downsize and have less space, less upkeep, fewer property taxes, if that's at all possible. They also might look at it differently. They might say, this is where our family is anchored. I always want these people to come back to these space. And by these people, I mean the people we raised. But there's math involved. And anytime math is involved on a Friday, because I'm out of math on Wednesday nights, I bring in none other than Damian Andrew Dunn, our math correspondent here at the Pete the Planner Nation. We're never going to show the nation. Dame, talk through the math of this. Like, what's the mathing of downsizing or not downsizing?
But first, I want to acknowledge that Mrs. Advice really rolled her eyes when you said I was the math person for the show. She just, that she's not going to buy that at all.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what is her 10 being amazing math, beautiful mind math, or Goodwill Hunting math? What is Mrs. Advice's math acumen?
9.5.
She taught herself calculus.
Yeah.
And what's yours?
2.
Okay, well, Dame, fire away. Hit us with the math.
I'm comparing, which is never healthy. So, whatever that's worth. We talked about this a little bit in the last segment. If you have the need for equity, if your retirement plan doesn't line up very well and you are house rich and cash poor, that means you've got a bunch of money and equity in that house that you could otherwise be used for living expenses, just going out and enjoying or having some financial stability there. The math at that point favors that it might be a really good idea to downsize. Now, Pete, you and I have talked about this. Kristen, you've been part of this conversation multiple times as well. When people downsize, they often don't downsize in price. They just get a smaller space, but a nicer space. And that cause real big problems. So if you are downsizing, this is a really important part you want to keep in mind. Get a nicer space, but it's got to be a cost sensitive, nicer space. Am I right?
Yeah. I also have to think here, Dame, the part of this decision-making factor isn't just the numbers of the house, it's the overall stability of the situation, because I think this looks very different with a Social Security income only retirement versus a large asset retirement. Kristen, how do you think about the differentiation between those two?
I think that's a really good point, Pete. And I also would raise you, I mean, not everyone pays off their house before retirement. So how does that factor? I think so far we've had this conversation under the premise or the assumption that, hey, there's no mortgage payment here, but for how many Americans is that the reality when they enter retirement? Maybe shortly into retirement, they're paying off the home, but there are plenty of households who are retiring with this mortgage payment in tow.
Yeah, I actually just saw an article in the Wall Street Journal. I didn't get a chance to read all of it, but one of the fastest growing demographics of people who rent are retirees. They are selling the house and just moving into rental agreements. So they always have something that's taken care of maintenance wise. maybe tighter neighborhoods as well. But they are finding some convenience and some stability and feeling like they know what those month-to-month costs are going to be and not have to worry about property taxes so much either. So, I think you're right though, Kristen. You don't have to have a paid off house to still make downsizing make sense, especially if you've got some equity in the house. So, I mean, if you could sell the house, buy something with whatever you got the equity in, and call it quits, and just have property taxes and whatever else you got going on there, that might make a lot of sense as well.
Yeah, go, Chris.
That actually might make more sense than the other situation we've set up. Like, I think I am going to lobby harder for someone to downsize who has that mortgage expense versus someone who is downsizing for maybe a combination of other reasons, to say, no, actually downsizing makes the most sense for you because of the monthly payment, even if you can objectively afford it.
Within the last 60 seconds or so, I think I've become obsessed with this topic. Here's why. There's a scenario with the right situation. I have to figure out what it is. That renting, to your point, Dame, is the absolute best move because it frees up the equity. You've got a certain, we'll call it a guaranteed, reliable income stream that can easily handle the rent payment. Mm-hmm. And so that makes sense. Whereas there's another situation in which you own the home outright, that the better move, oddly, is to do a reverse mortgage and create an income stream off of the home you own, if maybe your goals aren't to leave an estate. And then there's another situation altogether where there is enough income in the home that is fully owned, and you just do nothing. You just stay there and grin and bear it and deal with the property taxes and upkeep expenses. Like, that's why I think financial planning is so nuanced, because there are no two situations that are alike. It has to do with how well you took care of the home. Are you in an area where there are natural disasters or weather things that make upkeep harder? I think this answer is different if you live on the coast of Florida versus whether you live in the middle of a farm in Illinois. I just think it's really nuanced.
I think the answer is also very different if you are in a marriage versus if you're single or you're in what is not recognized as a domestic partnership. Because when we talk about care at the, as you're nearing your post-retirement, so to speak, those conversations become a lot more complicated when there is or isn't home ownership involved, the amount of assets that are involved, and then whether your state allows for you or the person you're cohabitating with to stay in that home.
I probably should have worked this out before the show, but there's something going on here. Dame, maybe get your wife around to help. But okay, there's some metric here that can be derived, and it is the increase value of a home over 20 or 30 years. Like, let's just go price per square foot as a measure of home value increase. Interest rates are somehow involved with this. And it's basically like, I've got this home that I bought for $120 a square foot, and I'm going to profit by selling it at $170 a square foot. But then I need to go to another home that's $185 a square foot. And so therefore, it's a terrible financial situation, a terrible financial decision. I got to work on it, but it's something in that ilk, no?
It could be. I mean, we would have to make sure that there's a component of the size of the home that you're moving, that you're downsizing to versus the size that you're selling. So, there may be some wiggle room there, but that's part of the calculation that could be figured out.
But you were like, hey, you got one space and then the other space is nicer space and no one's spilling Kool-Aid on it. So that's where you go from the 170 to 185. Yeah. And I guess I'd have to figure out the percentage difference between 185 and 170 and then compare that to the square footage. And thinking out loud math on the air is such good radio, Chris.
And so dangerous for a Friday brain.
Oh, that's the most. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Everyone's going to calm down. Kristen is very fired up. We're going to talk market and timing considerations around this. We're going to talk additional family considerations around this. We may even talk some health considerations around this after the break as we talk, does downsizing a home always make sense? That's next right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. Guys, in a way, I've done it again.
It's okay.
I've blown through the outline. May I publicly apologize, not to the public, because that's yet to come, but to both of you, because I'm just going and probably not following the directions here.
I didn't mind this.
Mhm.
Last week, I was like, that was the whole show.
Yes, in 3
In the
minutes.
first segment.
Yeah.
Versus your additions to the outline this week have been welcomed. Last week was like, what else are we going to talk about?
Yeah. My thought while you were going there was like, this could be
Yep.
a 5 or 6 segment show easily.
I don't have a lot of time this weekend, but a part of me really wants to figure out what that metric is. I want to figure out. Years ago, I created this little thing, this spreadsheet. I think I even sent it to Dame around should you get a new car when you find out you have a repair bill on your current older car? And I did like a spread. Do you remember this, or am I hallucinating?
I don't know if I saw that one or not.
Okay, but you know me enough to I
Yeah.
do dumb stuff.
Yeah.
This seems like if you could put this out to the empty nester set and go price of footage when you acquired it, plus the property tax rate, plus the current price per square foot, and then the size differential of the home, it feels like you could come up with an easier way for people to make decisions. I don't know. Welcome to my brain, everybody. Sorry.
I think you could, but that takes us all the way back to the first segment, which is that I think people factor in the math, but then at the end of the day, like if we're anywhere near the middle of whether this is a good decision or not, the emotional aspect is going to make the decision.
So we have a new feature here at Your Money Line. For those that don't know, Kristen, Damian, and I all work for the same organization. It is called Your Money Line. We fix people's financial lives through a relationship with their employers. We serve hundreds of thousands of people around the country through their employers. Dame and Chris are on a team of financial guides that do one-on-ones and help them. And then we also have software, including mobile apps that also provide insight to people's lives. Have I ever explained that on the show? It just feels like I never have, Chris.
Not like that.
Definitely not recently.
Yeah, not recently. That's what we do. Oh, by the way, congrats to you two, as this week we were named one of the fastest growing companies in America by Inc. magazine. That's a fun one.
Yeah, it's all up to us, just Kristen and I.
Yep. Congrats to you two. That was fun. That was nice. Anyway, new feature coming out next week for the users of our software. And I'm not trying to sell this to you, dear listener, because your employer's going to have to do this. Okay. Here it is. We have created a technology, proprietary, in which when you plug your financial life into our app, including connecting financial accounts, and you can run your credit score, and you can put your financial goals, and you can run your money vibe, and you can do all of these different things by adding your financial accounts. Every week on Monday, when you open your app, there is a podcast about your financial life in the last week, designed one-of-one for you. So we're combining the Pete the Planner Show, your financial life, and we are saying, here's what you need to know about your financial life this week. And it's a really interesting way to interact with your money. It is a very unusual experience, and the use cases are numerous. But here's how I used mine this week in its beta test. I was up in Lafayette at one meeting, driving back somewhere else to go to a different meeting. I opened my app, and just in my drive for 4 minutes, I just listened between meetings. And Dame, I've been listening to mine for 5 or 6 weeks now, and I'll tell you, twice it's caught something that I didn't even realize. So it's really interesting. I'm curious what you guys have been getting.
I've been listening to mine as well, and I just love the way it's progressed and the way it gives you like personalized nudges on checking things out and or maybe even following through on goals that you may have established, which is a new addition in the pro whatever the AI
Sure.
program. I don't even know what it is. But it's become so much better and personalized to what we have been trying to do with our own financial lives. So a lot of room to go, but it's been really pretty cool and valuable so far.
What are you learning, Chris?
I am learning that even a robot can hold me accountable. I'm an external accountability girly, and this week Penny bugged me again about how I do not have a current financial goal set up within our software, and because I couldn't settle on something, and so finally I went in and did just that yesterday. And it's just funny that like her nagging me every week about setting up a goal, it got me to do it.
Yeah. It's interesting for people who listen to this show. There's two types of people who listen to this show. Personal finance nerds who love this stuff. And so it'd be interesting to them, I think, to hear a podcast about their own finances.
Mhm.
And then there are people with just really bad taste that have nothing else to do. And you might like a podcast about your life as well. It's moments like this, Dame, and I feel like I could walk out of this door in a few minutes when the show's over and have the entire marketing and product team shooting laser darts at me for talking about this. I have some anxiety.
It'll take probably till next week because none of them are listening to this right now.
That's
It better
true.
not be. But hit those keys, program. I don't know. I don't even know. You do some coding, y'all. The tech CEO guys. It's all in the back. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner Show, the podcast that is personalized for you and you alone. I don't know. Don't think too deeply into that.
This is for information purposes only. It's not the Swiss financial planning device. Consult a financial advisor.
Dame, we're talking about whether or not everyone should downsize their home to get their home equity back, to reduce their expenses. We've looked at it various different ways. How would you like to look at it now?
I mean, there's a couple of ways that we haven't looked at it. I mean, we haven't necessarily focused on why you would want to stay, but I think what we haven't really leaned into is more the emotional side of the decision, because as Kristen said, and I don't remember if it was during the break or during the last segment, math is math, and you can make decisions based off of the numbers alone. But if it's somewhere squishy in the middle, emotion's absolutely going to take over. So when that happens, what are some of the things we're going to be dealing with? Kristen, do you have some thoughts around this?
Around which component?
The emotional side of things.
Yeah, I would say that maybe in the, what do we call it? The go-go, the slow-go, the no-go. I think
Got it.
maybe in the go-go phase, it's okay to maybe let your emotions take over. Like you might be hosting more family gatherings, you might have younger grandkids. I think where we have to try to separate ourselves from that emotional decision is like when we're recognizing that we're moving to the slow go phase, because that's where that upkeep is not just, it's not just your problem as the homeowner, especially if you can't objectively afford to do all of the maintenance and all of the upkeep that the home needs, or if your family feels obligated to help. It's the kids coming to mow the lawn. It's somebody coming to help you do some repair work around the house. I think that we have to be aware enough to know that if we're going to stay, maybe the slow go is the time to separate.
Hey, here's a hot take for you. Other than diamonds, is there anything more people get emotionally attached to possession-wise than their homes? I say diamonds because I don't get it. But housing, it's so emotional. People, it's shelter. It is a roof that sometimes leaks. And yet we've all turned into, well, this house is not a home. Memories fill these halls, and that's why the roof is leaking. Like, guys, is there any other possession in our lives that is this emotional?
The thing is, I don't even know that it's always the homeowner themselves that it's that emotional for. I think it's the next or even the subsequent generation that gets emotionally invested to a home. It's when a parent dies saying, how do we keep a family home, or who's going to move into this family home? I don't even necessarily think that it's the homeowner, or if it is, I think it's through the lens of my children want this home or my grandchildren want this home. I don't even think that it's the person who lives there most of the time.
My son's already told us that we are never moving from this house and until he's ready to buy it, because this is where he's going to live for the rest of his life.
See?
What does he build? What does he hid in the walls of his bedroom? That's what I want to know.
He just he knows how to break all of the light switch plates.
Okay. How about this? You know, there's the great wealth transfer is afoot, and one of the greatest vehicles of wealth transfer isn't a vehicle; it is a home. And beyond that, it is an incredible wealth building tool, say some. How does that play into this, or is that just another factor of, is it a good way to transfer wealth, or do you simply sell the house, you have the equity, and you rent? I mean, of all the things we've talked about today that are somewhat appealing to me, the idea of selling the home, having the equity, and then having the flexibility to rent wherever you want with fewer possessions, that is strangely appealing to me.
I think it is appealing to some of the conversations we've had over the years. I can see you doing this immediately and just saying, you know what, we're going to go experience the world and enjoy ourselves in different spots for however long we darn well want to. But I don't know if, wealth transfer with a house. I mean, you get stepped up basis when the final homeowner finally passes and passes it on to the kids, which is great. But I don't know if it's necessarily any more strategic than having cash, is it? Or investments?
I think it's worse. Like, I think it's a worse situation to be in because, like, okay, let's say, Dame, in your situation, you're saying that your son, one of two children, has said, this is the home that I want. And it's like, okay, let's say eons from now, you and Mrs. Advice, you pass. You're welcome. And then how does a transfer of wealth, so to speak, whatever that dollar amount looks like, I think that home or wanting to stay in that home complicates it. And in a situation where you can make up the difference and make things feel equitable from a cash or an investments perspective, maybe that works. But I don't think that's the reality for most families. Most families, their wealth is in their home. And then it's like, how do we transfer this home to this child? And then can this child objectively afford what is now the cost of the home because no one expected this house to be worth what it is now? I think it gets so much more complicated that way.
Dame, I keep thinking about our guest of the show who we've had on over the years, Joshua Becker, the declutter minimalist writer. What element of this too is, and I'm going to use a phrase that someone giving a terrible TED talk would use. What about the abundance of scarcity? What about the idea that it forces you to depossess things and to live a less cluttered and more abundant life through scarcity? I mean, again, that is an appealing concept to me, but maybe I'm a weirdo.
I think it's going to hit people different ways because some people will find comfort in their possessions and the memories that are held in those possessions, much like the house that they're sitting in. But man, if you want to give your kids a gift, start to declutter and just start to purge things that if they don't want it now, they're probably not going to want it when you're gone. So you can just start to thin things out a little bit.
Speaking of missing things we haven't talked about yet, I don't know. Kristen, is there anything else to angle to this that we've not explored that we should tap into a bit?
Maybe thinking about the market in general. Like, now might not be the best time in certain areas to be trying to sell a family home, or it might be a really, really incredible time in other areas, especially when you consider things like the fact that you can exclude. I don't think exclude is the right word. What word do I want? The capital gains from your primary residence. You get to
Exemption.
Thank you. Exempt. I knew it started with an E. You have your exemption. So that's something to consider too. Like we just had a conversation a couple weeks ago with someone in our primary work who they're looking at profit in their home above that amount. So it's like the longer they stay in that home, those tax consequences become part of it. So I think timing in the market, the tax considerations are all really important factors here.
Here's a weird one to that point. Let's say you own a home free and clear, and you are likely to move and buy a different home, whether it's with the equity in your home or pay a little extra with income of some sort. Can you actually time what we all believe, and maybe that's not true, are going to be falling interest rates in the next few quarters? Can you time that in a way that you either own two homes at once or sell or buy one in a way that you are able to create some sort of arbitrage between interest rates?
I think that you could, but I think getting fancy like that could come right back and get you.
Of course. Dame, I mean, your wife's good at math. You hung out with her recently. Did any of it rub off? What do you think?
Kristen's right. You could, but I mean, the patience while being ready to act at the right time is going to be really difficult for a lot of people to pull off. And I wouldn't try and outsmart the interest rate market if you don't have to.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to outsmart consumerism. Coming up after the break, biggest waste of money of the week. And the news right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. You guys have busy days? Anybody have busy days here in their jobs? Y'all got jobs?
I'm doing stuff.
I have a weird one. I'm doing a podcast coming up here later today. One of our clients. Then we send over the questions they're going to ask me beforehand, and I
don't look at those either.
Don't look at those. I know.
I feel better about that.
You knew the answer to that.
Well, guys, I'm telling you, for me, in the last couple of weeks has not been a good example of this because I've sort of sucked on the show. But generally speaking, with a healed brain, I'm better just living in the moment, not thinking about what I looked at the other day, you know? But I'm getting older, so maybe that's changing.
Probably not.
Dame, you got some killer news stories for us this week?
I got some news stories for us this week.
Great.
Yeah.
Fed lowers interest rates in September. Dame.
Yes.
Kristen.
Yeah.
Quarter or half? Quarter. Is it possible that Powell gets replaced before then somehow, though? I mean, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
And if he does, then the question is a half or 3/4 point. I mean, honestly.
That's an interesting point.
Quarter point.
Or I say quarter point, yeah.
Nerd Talk, brought to you by Nerds. All right. I got to get ready. I got to get the show ready. I like today's biggest waste of money of the week in the sense that
you might buy it.
No, not in that sense, that it is really a waste of money. In 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week right here on the Pete the Planner Show is the Oral-B 10 Series 10. What? Rechargeable electric toothbrush. When you're ready to treat your smile to something extra, the Oral-B IO Series 10 Stardust White Rechargeable Electric Toothbrush is your way in with its sleek in-handle color display, live brushing coach.
Time out.
There we go. There I go. Yeah.
Oh, what?
I almost want to know what a brushing coach is and what they say. I mean, can you pick the personality of your toothbrushing coach?
Oh, I want like Mr. T. I pity the fool that don't get to buy cuspids. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, you're just like, somebody that's like a cross between a Peloton instructor and, just like encourage you to brush faster, slower, or pull it back.
I can't wait to read the iTunes review of the show that says, has pithy current references such as Mr. T. Anyway, And pressure sensor designed to fend off gum damage.
Oh.
Add in 7 smart modes from daily clean to whitening. Magnetic IO Sense smart charger and dentist-inspired micro-vibrating round head. And you've got a pro-grade clean. Dame, what is the list price? Oh, wait, Kristen, what is the list price for this toothbrush?
I'm so confused because I feel like it's not that different from just a regular electric toothbrush. It is $110.
Something. Dame.
I do like the idea of that pressure sensor because I think I catch myself putting way too much pressure when I'm brushing my teeth occasionally. That might be very handy, but this is going to be like at least $150.
$380 stupid dollars.
Stupid dollar.
Dame, what's in the news this week?
Saturday might still be for the boys, but the rest of the week, not so much. New numbers show young men fresh out of college are struggling to find work. The unemployment rate for men ages 23 to 30 is around 6%. That's higher than the 3.5% rate for young women and the 4.2% national average. The job market isn't exactly booming for any new grads, but there are bright spots, just not in male-dominated fields. Healthcare, hospitality, and education, industries where women make up most of the workforce, have been growing. Business and tech, on the other hand, have seen layoffs and hiring freezes. For the first time in decades, young men with a degree are actually more likely to be unemployed than those without one. And while women may be finding more stable jobs, those industries often pay less. A nurse's median entry-level salary is about $65,000 compared to $80,000 for a computer scientist. And here's the kicker. The entry-level consulting and coding jobs many men chase are also the ones AI is starting to replace.
I have an uninformed opinion. Before I get there, did either of you start a clock on this segment?
Yes.
Yes.
3:30 right now.
Okay, well, can you just let me know when to wrap the show? Okay, so here's my uninformed take, which everyone's used to on the show.
Right.
You hear a lot about the don't go to college and go into the trades movement. And that is meant to some degree to be inclusive of any gender. But as we know, statistically, it primarily impacts men, trades. I mean, again, not that it should or shouldn't, it just does, okay? So I hear this, and I hear possibly, yeah, you shouldn't have gone to college. Like that's a hot take, but it's kind of true, no?
That's interesting because I just saw, and I didn't read it, which makes for great reporting. I just saw an article about the increase in women in the trades as well. So that's kind of interesting that while we might also be seeing an increase in female presence in this other sector of job, you're seeing an increase in unemployment for men in a different area. I don't know how those two are correlated, but that's interesting.
Dame, how do you think about that? I mean, it's a really tidy phrase to say that the people who are struggling to find work post-college graduation immediately, is it somehow indicative of the fact that maybe they didn't make I mean, that's a really broad generalization, but anything to it?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out some of the numbers behind it because last time I looked, and it was admittedly quite a while ago, more women were in college than men. Like there's a higher percentage of females than males in college. Their unemployment is lower for that age group.
Oh,
It is higher. And so I'm trying to figure out how that's all working at this point.
And also, unemployment doesn't differentiate between what type of job you're working. Like, this isn't to say that women are finding work in the fields that they went to school for. It's just saying that they are gainfully employed at a higher rate than men. So is it that their male counterparts aren't as willing to accept any job? I don't know.
You know who needs to be part of this conversation is Molly. She'd just be like, exactly. She'd be like, my point, exactly. Dan, what else is in the news? How much time's left?
About a few minutes.
Okay.
CEOs may have 99 problems, but a recession, that ain't one. As earnings season wraps up, S&P 500 executives have so far mentioned a recession fewer than 300 times on earning calls, which is nearly at its lowest level since Bloomberg started keeping track in 2001. It's a, quote, dramatic shift from the previous quarter when concerns about a downturn spiked following sweeping U.S. tariffs, Bloomberg writes. Other evidence points to cautious optimism on Wall Street. The U.S. will avoid economic shrinkage as the Fed begins to lower interest rates. And hey, the Bank of America's latest survey showed investor sentiment at its most bullish in 6 months. And profit growth is beating expectations by the widest margin in over 3 years. This earnings season, companies have posted 10.5% increases in earnings per share compared to estimates of a 2.8% growth before this summer marathon began. Plus, have you seen the stock market? It's bonkers. But the bottom line, the tariff hit to profits was, quote, modest and significantly lower than previously feared, end quote, according to Deutsche Bank strategist and my new favorite name, Binky Chadha.
Whoa, Binky Chadha weighing in here on the Pete the Planner. Okay, I was about to bring up an economist's take on the tariffs.
Okay.
Not Binky Chadha,
Well,
but the Goldman Sachs chief economist. The Goldman Sachs chief economist says that soon, fall, 2/3 of the tariffs are going to be absorbed by consumers. They're going to be impacted by that. Was it what, Bada? Dinky?
Binky.
Binky, like a pacifier?
Correct.
That's not why I would have probably, but yeah, Binky.
Binky suggests that we have not seen what we thought were coming. It's because the tariffs kept getting delayed. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, tariffs are here. No, they're not. Tariffs are here. Well, they actually aren't. Tariffs here, extension. So Binky is right, but it's a little deeper than that. I believe the Goldman Sachs economist that when now these things are here and they're happening, and I think you're going to see an October sort of impact on households. That's what I think, but I don't know.
If you'd have let me finish Binky's statement.
Oh, I stepped on Binky.
Quote, although it's likely to grow, end quote.
Although what?
It's likely to grow, end quote.
Yeah, Binky. How much time left, Dame?
We are at 8:50.
Okay, I can do that math. Kristen.
Yes.
What an amazing show.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dame, you have a 10-second news story you want to do?
No, I don't. I'm going to make you stretch. I'm just going to make you absolutely fight tooth and nail for this.
Hey, listen, if you want to see some of the hijinks on this show, and because your radio doesn't have that capability, just go to YouTube/Pete the Planner. You can watch the show, see Kristen, Dame, and myself. If you want to listen to the show and actually what we talk about between segments, you can do that too. And you can do that by listening to our podcast, The Pete the Planner Show. I'm sending you good vibes because good vibes are all that's in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner, and this is the Pete the Planner Show. How close?
Right on.
Oh, he's a pro.
That last story, Bank of America's latest survey showed investor sentiment and it's at its most bullish in 6 months. We, the investor, we cannot be trusted.
That's a fair point.
Come on. The pendulum of sentiment from whoever they survey when they ask these questions is just so unreliable.
I just found a story via our email inbox that oh my gosh, is this real? Sorry, I mean, great radio here, everybody. The headline or the title is something to the effect of, are there actually honest financial planners in Carmel, Indiana? Which I think is really funny. There is
on that guy.
Well, the U.S. charges two in a $275 million water vending machine Ponzi case.
How do you?
I don't know. I mean, I don't see a Carmel reference in the story. The guy's from Everett, Washington, but like, holy cow.
Was it fancy water? Maybe they're just assuming.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, the west side, you guys won't know this. There was a water main break in Carmel this week. The west side of
boil
Carmel,
advisory.
where yes, in a boil advisory. So one of my friends who lives in Indianapolis, when we were dropping our kids off at soccer, she brought me a bottle of Fiji and said, "I know you're probably suffering," to mock me because I had no water at home. And I thought that was really, really funny. Really funny.
That's amazing.
Okay, that's it. Well, good luck with your lives. I mean, whatever happens. That was to you and Dame. Okay, Chris.
Thanks.
Everybody else, stay getting